Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Accounting Recounted. Today, we're tackling the challenges and transformations in the field of accounting, exploring why enrollment in accounting programs is declining nationwide and how the landscape of the field of accounting is evolving. I'm your host, Amanda Hendren. Let's get started. The majority of the information that I'm using in today's episode comes from an article that was recently published in the Journal of Accountancy, written by Andrew Kenny. I will link this article in the show notes section of this podcast if you want to read it yourself. But I'll do my best to summarize it in this episode. Let's start by trying to understand the decline itself. The decline in enrollment for undergraduate accounting programs in the United States has been a cause for concern, with a recent AICPA survey revealing that there was an 18.3% drop in new graduates with accounting degrees from 2016 to 2022. To understand this issue a little bit better, let's hear what three esteemed experts who have received the AICPA's Distinguished Achievement in Accounting Education Award have to say about it. Dr. Thomas R. Weyrich, who is a professor of accounting at Central Michigan University, basically says that the decline can be attributed to changes in students' attitudes and perceptions of the profession in accounting. There's negative publicity around long hours and low pay, which has shifted student preferences towards fields like information systems and finance. Nancy Bagranoff, a professor of accounting at the University of Richmond, says that market factors also play a significant role in this decline, with low salaries in comparison to other business majors and entry-level jobs that are perceived as less rewarding. Additionally, a robust job market offer makes career stability less enticing for students. D. Scott Showalter, who is the director of the Jenkins Master of Accounting program at North Carolina State University, highlights the role of accounting firms in these trends, basically saying that there's been a lack of salary increases over these past few years, and there's been a failure to leverage technology effectively, which is contributing to this decline as well. So, what can we do to fix this? How can accounting programs adapt to address these challenges and make themselves more appealing to new students? Let's talk about what universities can do, and then later on in the episode, I'll talk about what I think businesses can do to help this problem. Essentially, the experts say that by revamping basic accounting courses for business majors, we could get a little bit more interest in the field. They think that we should integrate topics like sustainability, cryptocurrency, cybersecurity, data analytics. I mean, the list really goes on. By offering these things that are relevant to today's world, maybe we'll get a little bit more interest in the field. Plus, having engaging faculty is very, very important. When you're crunching numbers and all of that, sometimes students might see that as boring. And so you need to have engaging faculty that care about not only accounting, but making it as fun as you possibly can for these new students. For me personally, I had a wonderful financial accounting 101 professor when I was in my undergraduate program for accounting. I hadn't decided what my major was going to be or anything like that, but when I took that accounting class, I knew. And the reason I knew was because she didn't just teach us accounting. She taught us how many career opportunities are out there for someone in accounting. I think a lot of people think about, some accountant sitting in some office somewhere just crunching numbers. Like, that doesn't seem very fun. But what she taught us was that every business needs an accountant. And she gave us a few examples. She said, if you like sports, you can go be an accountant or CPA for a sports team. If you're into construction, you can go be an accountant or a CPA for a construction company. Like, you can go into any different type of industry as an accountant, but people don't think about it that way. They think of, corporate America accountant, no offense, that, you're sitting in an office all day. And so I think by just realizing that, maybe more people would be interested. I know for me, I personally love working with children. And before I started Accountable Numbers, the company that I own right now, I worked for a school system in their business office as an accountant. And so I was able to do what I love, work with children, and also be an accountant at the same time. So I think just explaining that to people, you're not going to be stuck necessarily doing what you might picture in your head. You can work in any. And just by having teachers and faculty and professors that teach that to new students who aren't thinking that way, potentially you could get more interest in the field. Moving along, another one of the experts suggests that opening graduate accounting to individuals without an undergraduate accounting degree. So I think right now, most universities, if you want to get a master's in accounting, you have to have these prerequisite accounting courses. Um, and so typically, it's a person with an accounting degree as a bachelor's degree moving on into those graduate accounting courses. And these experts are essentially arguing that by diversifying the entry points into the accounting profession, institutions can attract individuals with potential beyond just traditional accounting careers. Let's talk about what accounting programs are already doing to meet these industry expectations. The experts talked heavily about addressing technology skills. So essentially, what universities are getting feedback on from employers is that there's positive communication and professionalism skills in the accountants that they're producing from these universities, but they're calling for more technology-specific skills. So essentially, they think by integrating technology into the curriculum more than they're currently doing is essential to meet the demands of these employers. I personally agree with that as someone who received an accounting degree. It was a while ago now, but the only technology that was required at the time that I was in school was Excel. And that's fine. We got certified by Excel, but at in this day and age, Excel is really, as we know, kind of the bare minimum thing that you need to know how to use as an accountant. So potentially offering more technology integrations and classes on how to use technology and incorporate that in the accounting programs, I think is instrumental in, creating engaged accountants that companies are going to want to hire. Moving on, another expert emphasizes the importance of having a focus on professional skills in classes, incorporating presentation and writing skills, and applying those learned skills in practical scenarios. And that could contribute to overall positive feedback from graduates' employers. Business students now are required to take business communication classes to enhance soft skills, but they kind of need more than that. I mean, I think this is, part of the reason that accountants get maybe the stereotype that they have of, not having those personal skills that you need in a business. So just the experts kind of agree with that and think, having different skill sets like presentations, skills and all that is very important as well. You're not just always going to be behind a computer crunching numbers. You need to be able to talk to people. Okay, let's move on to what businesses can do to help out the accounting field. Number one, I think is pretty obvious. I think number one, they need to pay them more. So I know that's obviously easier said than done, but if you compare salaries to accountants to people in finance and information systems, accounting is comparatively pretty low. And because students can see this now with the use of online tools to compare, they're not going to go to school for the same amount of time and choose the field that pays the least in the long run. So I think accounting firms have a big role in that. We need to bring the salaries up in order to attract the right talent. We have to be more competitive with those other fields in order to attract students in the first place. Number two, I think that businesses can help by expanding outreach beyond just recruitment efforts. I think that businesses can send some of their employees to high schools or colleges and offer learning opportunities to these students within that profession. I think that will help get students more excited about it and potentially, letting them see real world examples maybe they'll see somebody and think like, oh, that's really interesting to me. I didn't even know that was a thing until I met this person in the field of this business. So those are two things that I think would really make a difference in the accounting field. But to end on a positive note, I do believe that despite the challenges, accounting remains a degree with endless possibilities, and these experts agree that it's not going away anytime soon. That concludes our deep dive into the challenges and future prospects of the accounting profession. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more engaging discussions on Accounting Recounted. Until next time, I'm Amanda Hendren. See you next time.